Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Milan at InfinniteLife and welcome back to another PlayStation 5 video. Today, I'm going to be showing you the best accessory for your PlayStation 5 that will practically go unnoticed, but you will use it every time you boot up your PlayStation and you will very much appreciate. Now we all know the PS5 comes with 825GB SSD internally out of the box, but the actual capacity for games and files is around 667GB, and although it sounds like quite a bit of storage space, you will quickly start to feel the pinch after 3 or 4 big games. There are a handful of games like Gran Turismo, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Elden Ring, and more that are close to or well over 100GB each in size. And as we continue to increase the graphical capabilities and features of games yet to come, these 100+ game files are more likely to become the norm. So today, I'm going to show you some options for storage management when it comes to your PlayStation 5, and I'm also going to be installing this 2TB Firecuda SSD with heatsink into my PlayStation 5. Now before we get started, I want to say thank you to everyone who has supported my brand new YouTube channel. My PlayStation 5 unboxing video has gotten over 19,000 views and over 500 likes in just 1 month. Not bad for my very first YouTube video. I would appreciate your ongoing support, so please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy this sort of content. And with that, let's begin. So first, you have an option to plug in an external HD or SSD into your PlayStation to help with internal storage management, but with that comes a certain limitation. An external USB hard drive will allow you to store and play PS4 games from it directly. For PS5 games, the external hard drive can only be used for storage of game files. So you can use it to swap PS5 games in and out of your internal storage without having to delete and reinstall games, updates, save files, and extras. You can easily find 2 to 5 terabyte external hard drives for $50 to $100, which is not bad, especially if you're looking for a cheaper option. But if you are looking for something more plug and play and leave it and forget it, the best option is to install an M.2 SSD into the internal bay of your PlayStation 5. Now this is a more expensive option in comparison to an external HD, but recently the price of these M.2 SSDs have been dropping, so it's worth keeping an eye out for a good deal. Now before you go out and buy any M.2 SSD, there are some specifications Sony has made for which drives will be compatible with the PS5. To simplify, you will need a Gen 4 M.2 NVMe SSD with a minimum capacity of 250GB and a maximum capacity of 4TB. The read speed needs to be a minimum of 5500 megabytes per second or faster. There are also physical dimensions that you need to take into consideration, especially if there is a heatsink attached to the SSD. To be on the safe side, find an M.2 SSD that states that it is made for the PS5 on the box and you should be good to go. So today, I will be installing this 2TB Seagate Firecuda 530 SSD with heatsink into my PS5. It meets the capacity size requirements by Sony, but it also has a maximum read speed of 7300 megabytes per second and a write speed of 6900 megabytes per second, which means load times will be blazing fast and downloads will not be throttled due to writing to the SSD. Just for comparison's sake, the internal PlayStation 5 SSD comes with a read-write speed of 500 megabytes per second each. The Firecuda 530 also comes with a heatsink attached to it and fits the dimensions of the PS5 internal bay. The installation process is actually pretty easy. We first need to get to the SSD bay, which is located on the underside panel of the console if you lay your PS5 flat, or behind the right side panel of the console if it's standing vertically. If you have a disc version, it is on the side of the disc drive. First, lay the PlayStation flat with either the disc side facing up or the non-PS5 logo side facing up. Next, you will pull the top rear corner up and then slide the plate towards the base of the console. It can be a little tricky the first few times you try to remove the faceplate, but after a little practice, it's actually pretty easy. Once I have my faceplate off, I can see the disk drive and the fan, and right in between of the two, you will find a long metal plate. This is the internal SSD bay. Unscrew the one screw that is holding the top plate down and remove it. Save the screw and the plate for later. Inside the bay, you will see little holes with numbers assigned to them. These numbers represent the length of your SSD in millimeters. At the 110mm mark, you will notice a screw and a spacer. You will need to remove the screw and the spacer from the slot and then place the spacer to the length that corresponds with your SSD. This is important because it'll help keep your SSD balanced and secured in the bay. The Firecuda 530 fits in at the 80mm mark, so I will place my spacer first, followed by the drive. Insert the SSD drive at a bit of an angle and press in. You will feel it click into place. Then you can push down on the rear of the drive and it will come flush with the spacer, and now you can screw it in. As you can see, the Firecuda fits perfectly into the bay, even with the heatsink. Don't forget to reattach the metal plate that covers the bay and slide the faceplate back on. And just like that, we have added 2 TB of internal SSD space to our PlayStation 5. Next, we are going to plug in our HDMI cable and power supply back into our console and turn it on. You will get a notification that your PS5 has recognized the M.2 SSD and that you need to format it. Formatting only takes a few seconds and your console is now up and running. If we make our way over to the settings and look at our storage, you will notice a new label for our M.2 SSD storage with Seagate Firecuda 530 labeled. And as you can see, we have the full 2 TB of storage space just waiting for some gaming goodness. Now if we go down to the option, installation location, you can specify which drive your future PS4 and PS5 games will be installed directly to. I have my PS4 games installed to the external hard drive, and that can be used for storage and play, and my PS5 games will be installed directly to my new M.2 Firecuda 530 SSD. Now I did a quick test to make sure that the SSD was working properly and the load times weren't affected, and I'm happy to say everything is running smoothly. The transfer speeds from the original PlayStation SSD to the Firecuda is blazing fast. 100GB games like Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy VII transferred within 30 seconds, and I didn't notice any loss in load time either. Not sure if I can say the load times are any faster, but they are definitely not slower. Well guys, there you have it. A quick and easy install of the Firecuda 530 M.2 2TB SSD drive. Having the extra space will always be appreciated. I won't have to worry about having to delete or transfer games to the external hard drive for quite some time now. Although the PlayStation can take up to 4 TB of storage, I think the 2 TB is the sweet spot. I mean, the more the merrier, but the max capacity of 4 TB SSDs can cost just as much as a PlayStation 5 itself. At that point, I'm okay just deleting games to have more space. I think the 2 TB gives the perfect balance to rotate new and old games. Alright you guys, we have made it to the end of another PS5 video. Let me know what you think. Are you going to, or have you already, increased your PS5 internal SSD space? What drive and storage size did you go with? If you have made it this far into the video, well, you're just awesome. Leave an orange heart in the comment section below, or any other comments or questions you may have. Please leave a like and follow my channel for more content coming soon. Follow me over on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter as well. I really do enjoy making these videos for you guys, and the more support I get, the more excited I am to make these videos for you. Let me know what else you guys would like to see in future videos as well. Once again, thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.